All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is essentially the biggest game jam of my life. My name is Andrew with Podunk Games, and we're working on my game Mountains and Molehills, which has been a project that we've been working on since around January of this year with my wife, my brother, and his girlfriend. We've been putting together this turn-based deck building roguelike, and it's been going pretty good. But pretty soon we're going to be going to Boston Fig in October, and so we're trying to get ready and get this game as good as it can possibly be before that happens. And so that's gonna involve doing a lot of jamming on this, right? So here's our objectives for today. We're gonna try to finish the new inventory UI that we got working the other day on my last stream, and we're going to be trying out getting the card rework in order because we've started making the cards look better. Like they've got an actual card bottom thing going on now, but we're not really sure, as a team, how much we like what's going on there, or if we'd rather just keep the materials by themselves. So that's going to be something that we try to get done pretty soon. Other than that, I have been spending a ton of time learning about writing shaders, which I think is going to be really helpful long term in my game dev career. But for now, it's just kind of been messing around. So you can see I've got like this, matrix style thing going on with this apple here. And I've got this ocean floor kind of looking thing. We've got this I call it this collapsed superposition because that's kind of what it reminds me of. Like an old paper explaining quantum physics. I've got this reveal. I've got this glitchy one, intentionally glitchy looking. I've got this. It's basically me trying to recreate the foil effect from Balatro. And since they're apples, obviously, I had to have something else go on with this. So this is the bad apple, and it's exactly what it sounds like. All right, that's enough of that. I can't even remotely explain how long I've been working on getting that joke going. Anyway, let's play the background music now that I don't have a bit locked and loaded. Alright, so getting that inventory hooked up, we're going to need to work on the relic bag scene. This here. And essentially we just want everything to get updated as it needs to. So I started working on this set aspect function here, which essentially just takes whatever aspect relic you've chosen, so your whole, shovel, pickaxe, prospector thing, and it sets the texture in the tooltip. That way, when you're playing the game, it shows up on that side panel. So that's where we're at on that. Let's see. So then we want to let's see what was on our side panel. We have the inventory level. We've got the aspect display, and then we have run restrictions. Right, so that's what I was working on last time, was getting this run restriction thing going. So run restrictions, imagine you're doing a challenge run, right? You probably want to make it so you've got, let's say, you have to start with half health and survive. So a run restriction would essentially be like a pseudo relic that sits in your inventory but not actually in your inventory. It's just kind of off on its own thing, and it's controlling what's going on in the run to make sure that it's different. So that's what we're trying to get done right now. And, yeah. One moment. Sorry about that. I've got some weird sound coming through my headphones, so I had to pull up the stream on my phone and make sure that it's not coming through, because that would sound really bad. Basically, my headphones are making like an interference noise, and it's not great. Alright, so the side panel script here is where we're setting everything. And what we'll probably do is connect to some signals in the relic system. That way this can stay pretty disconnected from everything else. But we'll do is we'll go something like that. So if there is a new texture set, then we're going to set the inventory level icon dot texture equal to new texture. And effectively what this is if we have a relic that is giving you an inventory size upgrade, we want to pass in that relic's texture, right? So we'll do that here. And we'll do inventory level dot text equals, what is it right now? LV dot. So that'll work for now. This should be there. And that should do it. We should protect against null here. So this will just clear. It'll just clear this stuff if we don't need it. It's not really super necessary. I could just make these clear by default, but I like being able to see them in the scene as we're doing it. It doesn't really matter all that much. This isn't like the most expensive call of all time. So then run restriction icon is the last one we have to do. And we're just going to set the tooltip as how that works. So let me pull up the run restriction resource. Alright, so what I've got is the name description, an icon for it, and a set of relics. I think the other thing I need to do is set ban relics. Yeah, I think banned relics is another thing we need to do. There we go. And then you get the stuff that you actually unlock and any hidden relics that we're using to essentially cause the effects. So rather than making it so every run restriction can do a bunch of nonsense to the actual character and the stats and everything like that, I'd rather just use the relic system that I've already got to do those effects, right? So rather than worrying about making anything happen here, we've just got this secret relics thing, and all it's going to do is it's going to give you relics that are specific to the challenge. And so if we look at like the base relic class, you can see it's got the ability to do these like something called on pickup, on battle start, on turn start, on card drawn, on hand drawn, on card played, on card discarded, all this stuff. And this is going to be important for making the restrictions interesting. So like if we want to do a bunch of challenge runs, say I want to have like 50 different challenge runs, we're going to need to make sure that those can have their own interesting things going on, you know? Turning down the volume on the music a hair. Should actually just be able to call get tooltip. Maybe. Let's try it. Cool. So then the last thing we're gonna do is set run restriction. Restriction. Right? Did I spell that right? Yeah. And this is just gonna take in a new run restriction. And I think what I can do is make a default run restriction that is just nothing, and then I can use that to set my nothing icon. So I'll just make a new, let's see, I want to do make a new folder for these, and I'm going to move that run restriction into that folder and make sure I kind of follow my own system here. Relics, it's always underscore relics, so we'll just do the same thing here. Run restriction. No restriction. Okay. And what we'll do is no restriction icon. Call it normal run. And I guess we will call it that. We don't need to worry about that. We don't need to worry about any of this. I think that's it. So then what we'll do is we will take our no restriction and load it here. I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to pass it in through the game manager as if it's any other restriction. I think that's probably the way to go. And so we're going to expect this to never be null. And that should be fine there. That's just going to be our safety. And then let's set our run restriction icon. And our run restriction tooltip. Which we need to go define because that's not currently defined. Okay. And we're going to try to make it similar to what the relics got going on, so we'll just start with that. I'm not going to worry about caching the tooltip because this is not going to get used as like super often. Hello, Bart. This isn't going to get used like that, so we'll just get rid of that. We don't need rarity. I don't even necessarily... We'll just call this our tooltip equals. Okay, we're going to get rid of this, and we're just going to bold the restriction name. Description, and that should be it. That should do what we want it to do. The only thing is, I don't know if this, if BB code works in the tooltips, but I guess we will find out. Which scripts are you upset about? None of them? Okay, sounds like not my problem then. Alright, I think what I want to do to test out if this actually functions is preload that like I was saying I wasn't going to do, and set this equal to no restriction by default. I think I might have to instantiate this, but let me try it, I guess. Yeah, that's gonna behave. My cat is very upset that I'm paying attention to the stream and not to him. Alright. Shall. What we're gonna do is we're going to set the run restriction to nothing, and let's see if we can just play this, see what happens. Okay, so VB code does not work, it would appear. I don't know if there's an option to make it work, though. That's the only thing. Because, like, it sure would be cool if it worked, you know? Let's see. Tooltip. Maybe in the theme. Very, very curious if this functions how I think it will. Theme. Inventory panel, side panel. I really don't have a theme attached to this. I thought I did. I'm gonna have to crawl up the tree and find where I have the theme. I know it's somewhere. Theme. Panel container. Ah, here it is. Okay, I knew I had it somewhere. Tooltip. Panel. Tooltip label. It does not appear that we have the ability to do BB code. I'm gonna look it up. That is a video tutorial. I'm not doing a video tutorial right now. Okay. It doesn't appear that the option to do it is there, but there is a part of me that wonders if I can... I don't know, I've never really messed with this. See, so I gave it a base type, but that doesn't give me the option here to do it, it doesn't seem. Thinking maybe that's not what I want to do. I might just forgo the bold text for now, though. Which is fine. It's not the end of the world. I just was hoping that would work out. So we will... just pop that out of there. And it should work as I expect now. Regular unrestricted run. Imagine that. And that still has that crazy text. Alright, we'll just leave it like that for now. I want to get everything else hooked up for now, and then we can worry about it being pretty later. So let's see. We need to get those other panels going. So the stat margin one, it's got its own scene here. Hi, Mr. Bart. My cat, again, very upset. You wanna jump in my lap, bud? You're just here to meow at me. He's just meowing. He's just meowing. Alright, stat page layout, that's fine. We are going to take all of these. Fire Emblem Hog. And these. And we are going to access all of those by unique names. And that should be good. Go back through. I'm going to grab a reference to all of these. Yeah. Cool. And that should allow me to set them as I need to. This looks so janky on this page, by the way, because it doesn't have the theming when it's here. It only has the theming once it's here. It's like night and day difference. Granted, all these icons are still getting reworked, but I just can't believe how different it looks. Hey, bud. What are you doing? My choice to get 3 cats haunts me every day. But at least they're happy. Alright. So... I think what we should do is try to utilize as many existing signals as we can. But I don't... On stat change. Okay. So I have the ability to know when a stat has changed. Interesting. A lot of this code is months old, so if it ever looks like I'm reading it for the first time, that's why. Alright, so we'll take on stat change, and we'll set the label based on which stat is altered here. I think that's going to be our best way of going about this, because otherwise we're going to be setting these labels like constantly, and I want to try to cut down on how many useless calls that we're doing. I made a big note at like 2 a.m. last night about tons and tons of inefficiencies that I could figure out just by scrolling through the GitLab of the game and just reading the code while laying in bed. And I was just looking at all these places and I'm like, why are we doing this math every frame when it's the same every time, you know? And like, I wrote it, so it's my own fault that I'm doing it there, but I don't know, it's the type of thing that you get it working and then you go, I don't want to look at this anymore, and you move on to the next thing. And so I've got to go back and get that moving. We have a ton of stuff like that. Alright, let me get back on track here. What are we doing? We're finishing the inventory UI. Right, okay. Okay, so we're not going to think about other stuff right now. So on stat change, that's what we want to get. But we want to specifically get it for this one stat package that's related to the player. Okay, so what we'll do, I think, is we're going to store a reference to this stat page? Though I'm not really sure if I should, because I feel like keeping it loosely connected is better. Yeah, what I can do is I can get it once to connect the signal, and that's it. I think that's better. So rather than storing it, we're just going to do... Or no, because I'm going to have to access it every time, aren't I? Oh well, it's not the end of the world. We'll just get this going. So, global battle state is the best way to get the player reference. On stat change, connect, and we're going to connect that to set stat text, and that's going to take in a stat. So we will take this. I'll be right back. Alright, false alarm. Okay, so we'll take that signature, and we're going to come down here. So, we don't need to worry about whether it was a base stat or a regular stat that changed. I think that is the most important thing to think about right now. What I do want to do, though, is keep pretty close track of what the stats are and use that to set everything. So, what we're going to do, I think, what is going to be the best way to go about this? Probably doing this in an array would be smart, I think. So we're going to move everything to a array of type label. And I'm just going to move everything into there. That's my percent sign, fine. Yeah, so we'll just give it one of these, and we'll get rid of all these. And I think that should make this a little bit better. I think at the same time, I'm going to do the exact same thing for the let's just say proficiencies. Array of type texture rect. Where is it? Okay. And let's do that a lot faster than how I did it last time. Cool. Alright, that'll do. now that is a little bit better. These are also stats, so I'm gonna throw those in there as well. Come here, smack them into there. Cool. All right, and should do it.
Hi, Mr. Bart.
I guess down here we can just define a constant for the might even just define the numerator. And just do I should probably do this outside of here, but I don't think I need it on that scope, so I just won't. Can you do custom information in an enumerator like this? I think you can. Let's try it. Yeah, we'll just do, no, because that doesn't work the way I think it will. Let's do a constant dictionary. Dictionary of type string name key, index, value, and we're just gonna go like this. Okay. Okay. Good enough. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do stat labels. Wow, that is super cursed looking. I guess we could do it like this to make it less awful to read. Yeah, okay, that'll be how we do it. Alright, so by default, it's just a regular label. So we can't really do anything super cool with it, huh? But do I want to make them all rich text labels just to get a little extra behavior out of them? I think I kind of do. Okay, let's do it. Change type. Does it break everything? It does not. Yeah. Good enough. So everywhere that I did this, I also want to enable movie code. That's the only reason to do it. And then we'll go in and set these to something interesting. So we're going to start with bold. And end with a stop being bold. And in the middle, we're going to do our player ref. Yeah, so I don't mind storing a temporary reference to the player. I just think it's a mistake if I store it constantly. I think it's just going to be, like... It's going to put me in a position where something doesn't clear when it's supposed to because of ref counted and nonsense like that. This also should ease the pain a little bit when we do, like a fast restart logic. Alright, so we're gonna do player ref dot get base stat string. Yeah, why don't we do this? That's better. So, then we will append I could have sworn I wasn't pressing backspace there. That was odd. So we're gonna append a space, and then color equals red if I promise I know what I'm doing. It's base stat plus base change. Get stat change. That's all I want. Yeah. If stat change. If I'm correct, I believe integers are true if it's not 0, right? Int will evaluate to false if it equals 0 and true otherwise. Okay, so even negative numbers are fine. So if stat change, we're going to do okay. Cool. Just a little ternary stuff. Even better. Let's do that. Actually, we don't need the minus. It's going to show the minus already. That change. plus. Right. So what that's going to do is it's going to have the regular number in bold. It's going to get a stat change if it's applicable. And it's going to add a red minus number or a green positive number if it is altered at all. I think the only problem is that health and block are not going to work good with this. So I think alright, that does what I want. We don't want to do any extra nonsense if we're talking about health or block. And the reason is, the way that I handle the stats in this game is your health base stat is your max health, and your stat change is your current health. And block works the same way, whereas every other stat is exactly what you would think. And I'm doing it that way just so that everything kind of lines up the way that you would expect. Know what I'm saying? So we'll go back here. And that looks okay. So we're just going to do that every time the stats change. I think the only thing we need to do from there maybe I should define this outside, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Alright, so that should do what we need. I think it's gonna crash. Yeah. Yeah, these should be rich text label now. Yeah, it should. Huh? Oh, yeah. I was expecting it to crash because of the player not existing. Evidently, it doesn't seem to care about that at all. Unless the player is loading from the global, actually. That might be what's happening. Okay. Let's go ahead and set that tab back to enabled. Try it out. Interesting. So it doesn't seem to care. And also there's a scroll bar here. It doesn't seem to care that there's that this doesn't matter. Something ain't right. Did I spell health wrong? Ah, this should be and. Got my logic backwards. In fact, I don't need these. parentheses either. Okay, so that's where I expect it to be. Those have set where they're supposed to be. I can get rid of these scroll bars pretty easily. I've just got to go grab them and turn scroll off. The only thing I'm worried about now is if I set this value to an arbitrarily high number, I think it's going to start cutting off, which these are protected against, but this definitely isn't. That being said, it should be okay. So I'm just going to not worry about it right now. All right. So next thing's next. We want to get the proficiencies hooked up. And I've been really honest to God trying to avoid this because the proficiency system is very, very, very loosely coded, right? So how it works right now is anytime you go to do a magic attack, by default, you will take recoil damage. And in order to not take recoil damage, the card, as you draw it, is affected by a relic that removes recoil. And so those cards will be essentially like regenerated without the recoil. So they're affected in real time as you draw them. And that doesn't really make a good system for being able to just check a box and say, yeah, there's recoil or there's not recoil. So maybe that whole system needs a rework. So that's cool. So I guess that adds to today's objectives. Now we also need to rework recoil. Womp womp. Alright. So with that in mind, why don't we go through and do that? That's going to be on the damage bus. Okay. So let me lay out the scene here, because I'm not really sure how I want to do this exactly. So where I'm at right now is I need to take a system that effectively takes a card that has recoil and a relic that normally, as soon as this is drawn, intercepts it and removes the recoil. We want to stop that behavior entirely. We don't want this to happen. Instead, we want the I'll make my stat sheet icon here. It's not a crack pipe. Instead, we want the relic to tell the stat sheet that we're immune, right? And then as the card does its damage, we want the stat sheet to be the one that says no recoil. So we're going to just rework this system to make it so that the relic never knows about the card. It doesn't mess with the card at all. No card. None of this. It's only going to be relic to stat sheet to damage bus. And I think that's how we make this work. And I know this looks like the scribblings of a madman, but that's mostly because it is. You know? Alright. So with all of that figured out, we're going to go to our stat package and we are going to add a list of immunities. And I think we should do this in a fun, new, inventive way. And by that, I mean the very standard way that most people would do this. We're going to add var elemental immunities. It's going to be an integer. That's going to equal 0. And we are going to make the setting and the fetching just use bitwise operators so that we can store all of these flags in a single integer. And going forward, I want to do a lot more of my flags this way because this game has a lot of flags. So, let's come down here and just do a region. And what we're going to do is set immunity. It's going to take in an element, which is going to go from card classification, I think is where elements come from. Yep. And all this is going to do is it's going to set... Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Alright, it's going to set elemental immunity. Or... and then cast the element to an integer, and yeah, okay, so what this is doing is it is taking the element's number internally, which is effectively 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is casting it to an integer like that, right? And then it is doing it to the power of 2 so that we are in separate bits. And then it is ORing it with the immunities here. So let's say that our... it's normally this, right? This is like our empty immunity string. And let's say that we are passing in electric, right? So electric is 1. So 2 to the first power is 2, right? So we're going to it's going to be this, right? So if you take this and OR it with this, you will always get this. And why that's important is because say we also have like this set, right? It's just gonna set that single bit every time. And it doesn't even care what's in there. If it's already this, it's still just gonna be this. So that's why this is important to do it this way. Okay. And we'll do func get immunity. And you're just going to do the same thing, pass in an element, and return a bool. We're actually going to call that is immune, I think is a better way to word that. And all we're going to do is return element immunities and, right? Yeah, and int element squared. Yeah, that works. So to write out the same logic here, effectively just think about, like, say again we're going to work with electric, so it's going to be like 0, 0, 1, 0. If you were to take that and AND it with itself, right? So just this one bit, we are going to get a number other than 0, right? In this case, it's going to give us 2. And any number that isn't 0 evaluates to true, right? So let's see what happens if we were to take our existing elemental immunity and we have every other immunity but this one. It still is going to end up being 0 because there's no pairs here, right? So that's the way that works out. And clear immunity. Okay. And all we're going to do is elemental immunities, and we are going to do, I believe, and not is the way that you do this, right? So and equals not int element squared. Yeah. So again, we'll work out the truth for this so that you kind of get an idea of what's going on. If we have nothing set and we attempt to clear electric, which again is this, what we're doing is we're taking let me make sure I have this right. If it's already cleared, then the and, okay, so then the not would end up being this, and the and would give us this. Right, okay. So I've got that correct, I believe. Right? And then if it is set, and we AND it with the inverse, then we also get a clear one. And if we have an extra one set, and it. We're going to keep that extra one, but we're going to clear that one. Yep, okay, so that works out. I always just want to double check myself because, like, I have notes on this type of thing, but, like, I am also just not, you know, God's gift to computer science, so I'm slowly trying to make sure I do everything right. That should be correct, though. So now we have a full way of interacting with this new system. We can set, clear, and read. So now we're going to go to our immunity relics, which we have a few. So let's see. Relic system. Fire extinguisher is one of them. So right now what I've been doing is using this set competent thing. And all that does is it makes you use the competency animation, right? So it basically goes through and it takes out the recoil packet, which I think rather than doing this, all we're gonna do is swap out the animation and not worry about it from there, because we can handle everything else on the bus. So the only issue is that the tooltip does generate based on what packets are there. Ooh. This might be harder to remove than I thought it was. So we're just gonna leave myself a note there, and we'll come back to this because I think right now keeping the tooltips consistent is more important. And surely I don't have a big to-do list. Surely I'll get through all of these. Oh no. Don't worry, guys. It's just a couple of quick to-dos. All right. Oh no. So that's fine. We're gonna add a on pickup, and eventually, I'm going to take all of these competency relics and put them into their own subclass so that they can just be instanced as a resource. But for now, it's fine as is because some of them are gonna do more stuff. Like I'm gonna have some that also add stat changes, which I think the only way I could make that work out is if I were to make all of the competency relics inherit from the stat change relic. I don't know. There's kind of a lot to think about there, but well, for now, we're just going to do character stat ref dot set immunity card classification dot element dot fire. And we will do the inverse here. clear, right? Yep, clear immunity. I'll be right back. My cat's meowing. My wife recently changed her job schedule, and one of my cats is very, very sensitive to change. He hates when anything changes, so he's very upset that she's at work right now. It's okay, bud. She's just getting me that PS5. Alright, so I'm gonna take that out of here. I don't need that anymore. And for now, that's functional. Let's go ahead and go through and put it in all the other ones. So the floaties actually are doing something they don't need to do. They don't need to have that there. Are those our only ones right now? There should be lightning rod and igloo, right? So igloo's funky. Because it turns recoil into block. I think lightning rod does the same thing. It turns recoil into block, yeah. But with lightning rod it still hurts you. Right? Yeah, I think it makes lightning rods interesting. That might be our only immunity ones right now. I don't think I ever implemented all of them. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. Alright, I am back. So, hey Mr. Bart. This cat is upset.
going on? You're okay. Good boy, Mr. Bart. You're a good boy. Yes, yes.
His brain's a little empty, but he's okay. Alright, so the immunity thing has been moved over, right? So that's cool. We can now get working on that. I think we should make a signal that emits anytime your immunities have changed. Yeah, so we have stat change signal here.
Hey, dude. You wanna jump? Good boy. Mr. Bart.
Alright. That's my wife. Popping in to say hi. I gotta go run around like a chick with my head cut off, so I'll be busy until I clock out of work. Alright, I hope things get slower, I guess? Thanks for dropping in. Bart says hello. He's on my lap right now. It's a good boy. It's a good boy, Mr. Bart. Don't bump the microphone. You dummy. Alright, that's bumping the microphone. That's exactly what I just asked you not to do, bud. Signal. You should see me right now. My arms are like up and around him so that I can still type on the keyboard. Alright, dude, hi. On immunity change. Alright, he's left me. Alright, that should do it. Okay. So, stat page layout. I think what I can do to make this a little bit better than how I was planning on doing it is I should be able to just pass in the element of surprise. Should do it. Okay. I should also make sure this is in the same order as the elements themselves, right? So why don't we go to card classification? EWI FWP. There we go. That should do it. So, classification dot element. Okay. There is one thing that I need before I get too far here. I need to open this project. Hi, Bart. What's going on, bud? Meow, meow, meow. Alright. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select everything. And I'm going to fill it in. Make it really hard edges. And then I'm going to I need like real hard edges here. You know what? I'll even use a tool. That looks okay. We'll export that for now as wow. And let's go ahead and move it over into here. Whole game art. UI items. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So we will store the icons here. This is the wrong folder. For empty and for check mark. Make sure these both get texture 2D as their type. And what we'll do is if is immune to element. And what we're going to do is set proficiencies int element +1. Sorry, -1. Dot texture check mark. Hi, Mr. Bart. that works for now. And effectively what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this and do it again as an else. Empty icon. Alright, so that's what we'll do for now. Dot element. We don't need to worry about physical damage, it's just part of that array because there needs to be an alternate option to being an elemental attack at all. Alright, so next thing's next, we will we'll have to set this at the start of the game. Card classification dot element dot keys, I guess. I think that works. Right? Maybe values is technically correct. Yeah. Oh. That getter is kind of funky. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be a total hack about it. Not immune to recoil from ice moves. Not immune to recoil from poison moves, wind moves, electric moves, water, and fire. Okay. That seems okay. The first thing I want to do to verify that that functions, though, is grab this and set immunity to card classification dot element dot electric. Well, that's not great. Something funky's going on. But what? Oh, I know. I know exactly what's going on. I did my math backwards. It shouldn't be this. No. It should be 2 to the power of Okay. That's the problem. Yep. Immune to recoil from electric moves. I would say that is functional. Functional as heck. Cool. So, with that in mind, we still need to make sure we finish what we started here. And go to the damage bus. And find where it checks if something is recoil. So do attack packet. If it is damage, alright, if packet dot is recoil and target dot is immune to packet. Bart, what on earth are you upset about? It's okay. Alright, so if it's recoil and you're immune to the element, then we are going to skip this packet. Which, this isn't a loop, right? No, it is not. Right? Yeah. So we don't have to, we can just return, I believe. Because it's only going to match one of these, and I don't think anything else down the line matters. Yeah, we don't want to do anything past here. Cool. We'll call it there. So let's pop up our agenda for the day. We're gonna remove. Yep. Alright, we no longer need to rework recoil. That is done and dusted. So that's cool. Next thing's next. So now we have the element set up. We have the stats set up, including the mining ones, I believe, right? Well, I know how to find out. I've just got to play the actual game. Nope. Hold on. I have to play the actual game from the title screen. Otherwise, this won't work. Alright, yes. I took the shovel aspect, which for whatever reason, gave me prospecting. It shouldn't have, but it did. That's not good. Something's going on there, and I don't know what. I couldn't even tell you how long that has been set that way, because it's just not a stat I've ever paid attention to. Mining 3, prospecting 3. Why? Oh, I see. Because we're using weird numbers. And so it's not 313, it's 318.3. I see. Here's what we're gonna do. We are going to turn wrapping off. Did that alone fix it? No, it did not. I have to also fit content. Whoa. Interesting. What is going on there? Yes, Mr. Bart? I hope you guys can hear him yelling. I'm gonna go check on him. He seems to be freaking out. Alright, I'm back. I think the cat just had zoomies. I really thought that he was, like, freaking out. Because he's, you know, all of a sudden sprinting back and forth and meowing like a madman. But I checked, and all three of the cats are fine. He was just being a wacko. Alrighty, so... Again, we've got weird numbers going on here I don't super appreciate. And something odd is going on with the way that these stats are laid out. And I'm thinking, which was my first mistake, I'm thinking that when I'm setting the base stat, it's also setting the rest of it for some reason. Which isn't really supposed to happen. Does it sound like my music is playing twice? Something's going on. My music sounds like it's playing twice. Oh, because the game itself was playing music. Okay. I forgot I had the game open. Sorry about that. Okay. So, why are we setting stats in a weird way like this? Okay, I found time to finish my break. Hello. Hello. Something odd is going on. I'm using alter base stat. Which alter base stat is supposed to lower. Wait, hold on. If the amount is less than 0, it's supposed to remove it. I don't think this is supposed to happen. Because that's not right. I don't think it's supposed to happen basically ever. Because if we get... Hold on. If we get a stat, it returns the base stat plus the rest of the stat. So there's no reason for me to be altering. Yeah. That's not supposed to be there. And maybe I'll regret this. Maybe that, you know, I had a good reason, but there doesn't seem to be any logical reason for that to be there. Let's see how this works. Yeah, everything looks normal now. that shader that I was testing earlier is it's playing on top of this relic but without having changed the relic texture. That is funky. The new cards look terrible, by the way. I really need to find out what I want to do with them. Alright, so this is the real test. Okay, so it did actually show that we have +2 attack. That's what I wanted to see. So now we know that this is working. Interesting. What happened? Do we have a Thorns stat? We do. For some reason, I thought I removed this and I was doing Thorns a different way, but apparently that is not the case. I feel like the new cards, it feels like it's too high up on the screen. I agree, but I also just need to redesign them because I don't think they look good. But, like, that's not really... That's more like the art side, and I'm not really that guy. Pal. Oh, sure enough, I do Thorns as a stat every time. actually doing something stupid in this one. Here we go. Replaced with new status effect system for thorns. Wait, what? Is that... Why am I doing it like this? I kind of don't understand what I'm doing. So for some reason or other... Oh, I don't like this at all. Let me describe what I did to make this so janky, right? So, every time that you get thorns, right? Every time it is given to you as a status effect, right? It's always given to you as a status effect. And so the player always sees it as a status effect. But behind the scenes, that's not what's happening. Well, it is. It is actually. That is what's happening, right? It is giving it to you as a status effect. And then the status effect is then coming back and giving it to you as a stat, right? Again, that's a magnifying glass, not a cracked pipe. And so the player effectively doesn't think that they have a thorn stat because it's always a status effect. Even when it's a base stat. So in essence, the base stat thing, like, it doesn't exist for thorns, which is weird. Like, why did I do it this way? I'm trying to remember if there was a good reason. I think it's because there was no way of seeing what your stats are. And so prior to adding this relic bag thing, if you had natural thorns, you wouldn't know until it triggers, and that was kind of awkward. I think that's all it was. But now, like, this kind of feels strange. But I don't know, maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter right now. There's some weirdness. I'll worry about it in the future. For now, let's just make it not crash and be good. I guess that's how we're gonna handle it for now. The other option is we could add thorns as, like, a 6th stat here, but doesn't it... Am I the only one who thinks that that doesn't feel like a regular stat in a way that, you know, is good? Like, there's a part of me that even feels like speed and luck don't belong as stats, but I don't want to have a bunch of values that aren't stored as stats. I don't know. Things are weird, man. Things are weird. Either way, what we need to do is finish setting up the rest of this UI so all of it is connected. And as soon as we're done with that, this system will be... It will be in a code freeze, right? The art can still update, and it will update, but we can stop worrying about the code side of it and move on to bigger and better things. Like, I still have characters to animate. I still have dialogue to write. There's a lot that needs to happen. My smallest cat is currently getting into a guitar case, like fully inside of it, and I don't know what he's doing, and it's kind of scaring me. I look over there and he's like, "Be the guitar." Hey Chimmy, stop being a weirdo. Alright. So. What do we need for the card screen? So right now, this screen has nothing. And what I want it to have is a, I want it, well, I'm not going to have room to write this, but I want it to be like remaining cards and full deck. If you've played Balatro, that's going to look familiar to you, but I essentially want to do something similar. And then I want to have like, oh, this is dirt, and it's going to be like, you got 3 of those. You know, you got 3. And it's going to be like, oh, here's stone. You got 2 of those. And you're gonna be able to scroll it, right? And so this will be like how you get an overview of your deck all at once. And maybe these icons could be smaller. I could just do like, you know. Because I don't want this to be like a massive scroll box. I'd rather it kind of, I might even do it 4 wide. That might be the way to go. But yeah, that's how I want to get this going. So what I'll probably do is have this top portion just be like a toggle, right? I somehow reduced the size of my pen, and I don't know how I did it. I figured it out. We're good. Uh-oh. Alright. So I want this top portion to be a toggle, and down here I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to do a scroll container. And then inside that, I'm going to do a H-flow, I think is what it's called. And the reason I want to do this H-flow is because if I just did it as a grid, we would run into a situation where this number would be like this in certain builds, and I would rather it just push it onto the next line if that number gets absurdly large. Like, I mean, ideally, you're not going to have like a million of one card in your deck, right? But you have to account for the people who are going to break the game, because it's going to happen. It's a roguelike. Roguelikes break, you know? Like, that's just Rouge. Rogue likes break. This is really the lesson for this entire game, right? Roguelikes break. That's just what they do. You have to account for it. You have to understand that eventually someone is going to have like 700 cards. And someone's gonna have like 1,000 relics. It's just gonna happen, right? You just have to remember that roguelikes break. They break. Okay. So why don't we just do exactly that? Exactly what I described. We're gonna get moving on that first. So inside the margins here, we're going to add a V-box first. And the top thing is going to be a toggle, which I think is a thing, right? Okay, yeah, we'll do check button. And we will theme that. Oh no. Is this what they... Is this actually what they do? It's just literally texture. I mean, that's that's cursed, but okay. Well, that does mean that this isn't going to be very helpful because if I can't put text on it, then I can't localize it, and then what? I guess I could do a tab container, but I don't really want that. Maybe a tab bar is the way to go, because a tab bar I can customize. Yeah, why don't we do a tab bar? Just to be sure, the control that provides a horizontal bar with tabs, similar to a tab container, but only in charge of drawing tabs, not interacting with children. That's what we want. So we're going to do 2 tabs. I'm going to do index, total credits. Okay. And let's start theming this a little bit. So let's go to our panels. So what you're just gonna do, I can't really do it as a little pill shape, can I? Because that will not work. That will not work at all. Is there a background for this? Not by default. Increment. currently selected tab. Tab and close buttons when it's being pressed. Tab and close buttons. Ah, I see. Okay, so we have a lot of signals we can work with there. That's pretty cool. You know what? I said this before and I'll say it again. I'm going to save the styling for the actual art team instead of messing with this forever, because I'm going to end up finding some problem, I'm sure. Throw a panel container in there. Override the panel. We're just gonna use this. I said this. Okay. No, we're not going to do top and bottom, just sides. Alright, so there's the panel. Inside the panel, we are going to put a scroll container. And we are going to do the minimum size, see what we can get away with. That'll do. Scroll container is intended to work with a single child. Well, yeah. Why are you telling me that? Alright, H flow container. Yeah, we'll do begin. Okay. And list. Page. All right. Seems okay. Now all we need to do is make the base setup here that'll exist for each thing that we put in. So save the scene. And I'm going to add I guess just an H box is how this is going to be. Have a texture rect in there, which is going to ignore size and keep aspect centered. We'll put like dirt in there as a texture for now. As our custom minimum size, we're gonna do 64 by 64. That's a little small. 256. That's a little big. That is just right. All right, so then you know what would be cool? It would be pretty cool to put a shader on this that makes it so it kind of looks like there's more of it that are hovering around behind it, depending on how many that you've got. But I don't know, maybe that's overkill. I think it would be neat though. All things considered, it wouldn't be very hard. I just don't know how performant it would be, to be honest. Alright, I'm going to separate five bottom left. All right. Might even do, let's try 32. And then I'm going to duplicate this. There we go. That's what I wanted. Maybe that's all I'm gonna do. Let's duplicate these a few times. works okay. I think that's all I really need. I don't need these to be extremely complex. I just want this page to kind of give you an idea what's going on, right? So come up to here, delete those. All right. Okay, and all we're gonna do is we're going to connect. How do I want to do this? I'm trying to think if I can get away with this without doing a script. And I don't really think I can, but I can try. Oh wow, I didn't even know that was an option. The source object is automatically sent when the signal's emitted. That's actually like super, super neat. I didn't even know that was there. Now, can I do on the fly lambda functions? Because that would be really cool. Let me actually just, I want to see. I want to see. So this is tab changed for let's see. Index. Will it let me do this? That would be super cool. Method must have a valid identifier. Oh man, that would have been so sick, dude. That would have been super nifty. What I could do. I could do set. I do set visible. So I'm gonna do it in this. I'm gonna pick. Oh man. Okay, this is gonna be cool. Uh, no, I really can't do it this way, can I? I don't know why I want this to work so badly. It like really doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm gonna give up on that idea. Let's just set this up the way it should be set up. That'll do. And then all I gotta do is connect this. To the show tab function. Done. Easy. And all I've got to do is hit this. Yes, they are identical. Test this like that. Give it a go. Boom. Works pretty good. So in that case, we just need to actually populate this. Okay. Card texture dot texture equals card dot card texture. Card texture sprite. Remember, kids, set your naming conventions to be, smart. Cool. Alright, that's good for now. I might come back and use my custom tooltip system for this, but for now I just want it to be simple. And I'm going to save this as a scene. Cards in deck instance. Then we will remove this. And what we're going to do is come up to the script for this. Card in deck instance. We will store there as a packed scene. Cool, cool. And now all right. For I node in deck card list queue free. For I node for I node in total card list get children. Cool. All right. All we're gonna do is this might not actually be the best way to do this. Oh well, we'll give it a shot. I'll just make sure this doesn't get called super often. Because I don't really want to reference each one based on what card is stored in there and do all this junk. I'd rather just reassemble it from scratch. guess H box is what it is. Set info. I gotta see something here. Do 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 do. Huh? Okay. Don't worry about that. I was like, why did it error? But it's because the game was running. Cool. Hmm. Global deck state dot get deck reference dot I'm doing the same thing twice if I do this. All I'm gonna do is say well, that doesn't really work either, does it? Because the cards are going to be separate instances. I don't like that either, though. Because I have to store like at least one reference to the card, right? The other option I have, and I think I might actually do this, I want to add one more behavior type here. Count of cards by name. In. Okay. That should do it. Cool, cool. Okay, global deck state dot get reference to deck. Dot get names of all cards. Cool, cool. Dictionary of string name int for count cards by name, right? Count of card by name. Pass in that. Okay. So now I should have a list of all of the names of the cards and all of the counts of the cards. And now I just need to make the actual object. So That works. I actually don't need to loop through this twice. I can just do it right here. Bar new display equals I guess it's just an H box. It's going to be reference card by name. There we go. And then it's going to be counts I might even be able to just skip this. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. All I'm gonna do is go decref dot count cards by name. Cool. And then we just gotta add the child. So we will go deck card list dot add child new display, and that's done. Now we want to for I card, no, for I string name in global deck state dot get name card. What is the function called? Get names of all cards. Oh. Get reference to hand dot get names. Hey, how you doing? Leon12697. I know you. Hi, first time, long time over here. Just saying hi and keep up the good work. I appreciate it. Good to see you. I hope I did the the voice right. All right, so we're gonna if not card types in deck dot has I card types in deck dot append I. Okay. Then I can just do this again. Except I'm going to change deck ref out for I could even just set deck ref to be this. Yeah. And then instead of this, we're going to go total. Oh, you know what the problem is? I have to, that's not gonna work. Hand ref, which is gonna be another deck. VAR, discard ref. I have to get the discard as well. Otherwise, this would have worked perfectly, I think. Okay. No, that doesn't work. Can I just do plus? Now, what is the operator? I hardly know where plus do. Appends the right array to the left operand, creating a new array. Okay. Is much more efficient than concatenation. It's much more efficient. I don't know. Do I care about much more efficient? I think I should, right? Seems like a smart thing to care about. Short and sweet. Cool. So then I have to get a reference to... Yeah, we're gonna try it like this. Then we will do hand ref. Then we will do discard ref. Cool. Card ref. Count. Bart says hello. I know, he's been saying hello all day. All right. Now to test it. Assemble screens. And go. Crash the game. Yep. Get names of all cards. Can I call this deferred? Try it now. No! Alright. And quote. Try it now. Now it's still gonna crash every time, isn't it? Alright. Do I have signals in the global state? I do not. Deck signal bus. Oh no. Hand drawn, I guess, is how we wanna do this. Okay. What else we got? That binds two arguments. That binds none. Unbind. Try this. What do you want for dinner? I have one burrito refrosted that I can either have now or save for breakfast tomorrow. I don't know. How much have I done today? Which is a crazy question. Because I'm trying to figure if ending stream is the right move. Let's see. You can cook. Do you want to cook? If you feel like cooking, you can cook. Because like if you want to cook, I'll take like Alfredo or mac and cheese or something like that. Or like Alfredo. Or like mac and cheese or something like that. If you only feel like washing one pan, then you could make that that Better Goods mac and cheese. Otherwise, Alfredo is what I'd prefer. And it crashed. Okay. Invalid assignment of property or key texture with a type of compressed texture 2D on a base object of type nil. Huh? Oh, I know what happened. Oh, I'm a genius. Maybe. Did you pull the relic update that was pushed? I want to see them. No. I have not. This needs to happen, though. Boom. That should fix everything. Okay. Huh? Oh. By fix everything, I meant break everything. That's what this wants, right? The draw pile and discard pile. Cool. I have not pulled it yet. I will shortly. Okay, so nothing is here yet. Maybe now? Oh. Why is it nil? How is it nil? Let's get rid of this knot. Reference card by name. Gets a reference of a card by name or returns null if it fails. How could it possibly fail? No, this can't be ill if. It still has to be if. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I'm just throwing out whatever I get. Okay. Try her again. Okay, so for whatever reason, it's not updating right at the start like it should. Also, I need to enable the tab if I want to be able to see it. Okay, relic bag, tab container, save it. Okay. So in deck, I still have a Pyro and Bentonite, but my total cards. Yeah. Okay, that works. So the total card should have 2 more dirt, and it does. Should have 1 more flint, and it does. And it should have 2 kaolinite, and it does. All right. Cool. That works quite well. Try it like this. If you want to see the updated relics, you could just go to GitLab. Too much. All right. So, once again, nil. Deck linked hand. Oh, never mind. This is something I know is a problem. Okay, cool. We're fine. Everything's fine. I forgot that that screen still isn't fixed yet. Bah. There's still so much to do. I really want the cards to look better, like right now. Like I like the idea of them having information. I just really think that they don't look good. And that perhaps bothers me more than it should. But I just don't know how to improve it. Like, I don't know. I don't have an artistic bone in my body, evidently. Whoa. That's nuts. That should be what the cards do in the game every time. Alright, I think I need to mess with it for a little bit and see what I get, because I'm not thinking at all. No, I'm not thinking that it's gonna look good just using what I've got. So let's... let's do some on-the-fly adjusting. So right now, the problem is that they kind of take up way too much of the screen, I think. I think that's our main issue. But I don't like that so much. Especially because that's going to happen. I almost feel like I just have to scale them down. I think the cards might just be too big. But they do provide a nice target for like where to click though. That's the only thing. I kind of like that. What on earth is happening with these? What on earth is happening in there? Make them a hair smaller? Okay. Whoa, don't do that. So, I think the problem is, as soon as I make them smaller, I'm gonna have to go adjust a bunch of values. And that's not like the end of the world, but it kind of sucks. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, because that's the old one. That's why nothing's happening. I'm like, huh? Let's try this. That'll be future me's problem. What-oh. They are, and I cannot express this enough, exactly the same size. That's kind of what I meant, is that like the size and rotation and position and all that stuff is like set constantly on these cards. And I've got a lot of math to fix to make that work. So I don't really feel like I have time for math today. Cause like, look at all the stuff that's on like on our objective list. How did that get there? Oh no, oh, no. Alright. Fine. Stupid. Stupid objective list. So many numbers. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. First things first. I'm going to get rid of all of these constant floats that are just being used to scale a vector, when they could just be the vector. And that kind of sucks, but it's what I'm gonna do. So this is what I'm gonna do. Fixing the math for all this stuff is like genuinely going to make the game like 10 times faster, so I shouldn't complain that much. You can hear Bart screaming in the other room. Hi, dude. Welcome to the stream, Bart. Top chatter. Bart, do the roar. No way. Alright. That is a little math that's figured out as a tree. Alright. So the rest of the math that needs to be fixed sucks. It like really does. But I gotta do it. So here's the problem, right? And you're just gonna love this. Speaking of which, I think I have more of these. Yeah. Alright, so I don't need to be doing this anymore. There's no reason to have pointless multiplication. It isn't being used. We're only ever using that in this like extremely specific situation. Alright. So the other thing that I need to do is I need to take this transformation that's happening and remove it because it's pointless. It's so pointless. Basically, the scale, well, the scale does change, doesn't it? No, just the visuals of the scale do. Yeah, so this stuff doesn't change. There's like no reason for me to be doing this calculation every single friggin' frame. So what I need to do is I'm going to add a function called on resolution change. And all this is going to do is it's going to pre-calculate this. Will that work, though? Yeah. Yeah, it will. It'll definitely work. Famous last words. I think it's just a vector 2 that I need. All that this is gonna do, it's gonna take this. It's gonna calculate it one time. That's it. That's all it's got to do. Bart does not understand thermodynamics. Me neither. Alright, one thing I can do is as soon as I create this node, I can call that on resolution change. And all that's going to do is it's going to make sure that every draggable has this as soon as it needs it. Hello, Bart. Oh my gosh. What a big meow from a big boy. Don't you have a mother to bother? Okay, I gotta... There's so much happening here. Is it in camera? I know I have somewhere a way of checking when the resolution changes. Yeah, that'll do. So what we're gonna do is go back a couple times to the actual thing I'm supposed to be in. And we're gonna do get tree dot root dot size changed dot connect to on resolution change. Okay. That should do it, because what that's going to tell the game is, hey, if the resolution of the window changes, recalculate this. Otherwise, just leave it the heck alone. So the rotation should still be broken, because I haven't fixed it. But let's see if this works. Do. It appears to work. Yeah, it's still detecting where the cards are correctly. Cool. So that should be more efficient. So that's one piece of math done. So hopefully I don't need to do math anymore. Let's check the objectives. Oh, god dang it. Okay, it's still math time. Math o'clock. So what I need to do is make it so that that funny rotation that happens to like make the card, you know, lag behind where you're dragging it. Which currently I am skipping, which is why that was there. I need to make that happen on mouse dragging. Which is what I was trying to do here, and it didn't work. Probably because I'm not setting this anymore. Try it. Not using the last position though. Let's try this. It's not doing anything. And I don't know why. Probably because I have the wrong visuals here. Or no, I don't. It's correct. Something's going on though. Not dragging return. If there's mouse motion, Does this line up 1-to-1 if I do this? It does. Perhaps it's because of this last delta. Times rotation speed. I could. That might be why. Try this. It's the same exact code, really, but I don't know why it was working and then it wasn't working, so I'm just gonna try it. Yeah, it's not rotating like you'd think it would. In fact, all the rotations being kind of weird. Alright. Either way, I think that might be all I've got in me for math right now. I'm thinking I might end it off here. Given I've been streaming for 3.5 hours now. So thank you guys very much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this, be sure to hit that like button and to subscribe to Podunk Games for more game dev content. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna see you guys next time. Goodbye.